It's easier than it seems. It's going to be our new standard, say, in the nearest future. And it's not going to become a separate industry or profession. I think it would just become naturally built into the existing SEO or marketing teams. So geo is just a new reality with everyone should start embracing. The sooner the better. So start optimizing for exact prompts you would like to rank in particular LLMs. Not just keep doing what you've been doing, writing the old or like optimizing existing blog post pages SEO first and pray for better. Do deliberately optimize for geo as well. I'm Roman Leliukh, and this is SEO in 2026, additional insights.
Roman, what's your number one SEO tip for 2026?
Everyone should be doing geo or generative engines optimization. It's not that SEO is dead, it has changed.
Okay, everyone should be doing it. So why should everyone be doing it if the vast majority of the traffic maybe still comes through traditional search engines at the moment?
Simply put, so as you might know, Surfer is a SEO content optimization platform. And not gonna lie, as of today, we get almost as much organic traffic from all LLMs combined than we get from Google Search, which we have been writing content for almost 7 years. And our blog post ranks as top one for many SEO related keywords like content optimization, SEO, etc., etc. And now we see that ChatGPT Perplexity, Gemini and AI overuse combined make up for almost as much as Google Search bring us, or like the classic / the old search.
But is that not likely to be unique to your particular industry, your particular product?
Absolutely not, because LLM search share and LLM's usage as a new tool or as a new product is only keeps growing. So ChatGPT has gained 700 million unique users a month in less than a year since they launched. It's been more than 3 years since they have started. Now there are more competitors. So its share is growing and will only keep on growing. And a company like ours already has as much people coming to our website from LLMs as from Google, who had like almost 30 years to get their ground. I think this change it will come much faster than it took Google to gain its ground. And also it's rumored, it's not really rumored, it's the product manager from Google behind Gemini and AI overuse in particular has posted on Twitter just a few days ago that they're planning to make AI mode a default likely by the end of this year. I'm speculating on the date though, but he claimed it would be nearest future. So soon it would only be LLM search everywhere, pretty much including Google itself. I'm not touching the smaller players like Bing, like DuckDuckGo, etc. But the Google itself is likely to switch fully to the AI mode. So it would be LLMs. Whatever you look for would be sorted or read by LLM before giving you any output. So you would not get involved into classic search anymore in the relative future.
Got you. Okay, so what you're essentially saying is that you're seeing a lot of traffic at the moment. It may not necessarily be reflective of every industry, but what you're seeing is exponential growth. And if you simply follow the curve, you can see that within a couple of years, then many industries will be the same as well.
Correct. I think it will become a default for every industry, as nowadays you can argue that some queries are fit better for LLM search. Some queries are still fit better for the classic search. For instance, if you look up for something like informational type of query or informational intent, you might still default to the classic search to open a page on a website you trust in. So for instance, Wikipedia, and go through the article yourself and trying to find all the nitty-gritty details which you're interested about a particular topic, because it's like informational type of thing. But if it's commercial type of query, for instance, or which is the most probably crowded type of, it has always been the most competitive part of search. Would it be advertisement or optimizing for ranking for a particular commercial intent type of query? But you can argue that commercial queries are a much better fit for LLMs for search, because it would already go through a bunch of sources, compare what people are telling about a particular product you're willing to buy. So for instance, if I Google something like best air fryers under $200 to buy in 2025, I would default to go with this question personally. I mean, I'm speculating though. I would default to go with this question to ChatGPT or Gemini right away, instead of going through 10 comparison pages Google gave me and spend 20 minutes on that.
Okay, so you mentioned ChatGPT and Gemini, obviously essentially powering Google AI mode there as well. Why are you focusing in on those LLMs?
ChatGPT is 75% of market share as of now. And as I said, Google makes up for maybe 10, 15. AI overuse in particular, not Gemini though. It's a fraction of percent maybe, or like 1%. But as I said, so ChatGPT is the king because they were the first, and it's the most popular LLM first, not just LLM first search, it's just the most popular LLM that happens to have the search mode as well. Google's still the king there in terms of AI overuse, but, and again, as I said, they are likely to make the AI mode default. I mean, I do see the future where it's kind of happening one way or another soon.
So what is the process for optimizing for LLMs, and how is that different, if at all, for optimizing for more conventional search?
So the way the process is still in the making, as it's something so new and it's being changed as we speak, probably. I would only tell about something that wouldn't change, at least by the end of this year, maybe. What we see our customers are doing right now, I mean, huge companies with dedicated SEO or marketing teams, and what we do internally and what we're trying to now build into our product to automate this process. You start with coming up with a bunch of prompts you would like to rank for in either LLMs or AI overuse, Gemini, etc. So let's say 15. And if you check that you do not rank for some of those prompts, you start tracking them. There are plenty of AI tracker tools on the market, including ours. They work relatively similar. I don't think there's huge difference between which AI tracker tool you will pick. But what makes a difference is how would you then either reoptimize your existing content to increase the chances to being picked up as a source or cited by LLMs, or write new, as I call it, GEO first content. As an example, what we do internally. So as I said, we pick up a bunch of prompts. For instance, it might be something like surfer versus competitor, for instance. And we see that we are not even being picked up as a source, for example, or not cited in ChatGPT for this type of query. What we do next is we go and find all the blog post pages we have related to the topic, so the old ones, and we include the so-called like facts. I mean, we call them facts, but those are basically statements. It's not that they're backed by something. By fact, I mean like 50 to 100 word sentence or a short paragraph that makes a statement, basically. So for instance, Surfer costs, I don't know, $99 a month for that type of plan. That's a fact, basically. Then we integrate a piece of those facts, factual claims within our existing blog post pages. They are like semantically relevant to a search prompt or like a query. We would like to rank on those LLMs, and we are currently not being cited. And the second activity we do, we put up, in this particular case, for instance, Surfer versus some competitor, we would put up a comparison page, which would only be answering the questions or like bullet points that LLM response had. So you asked, what is advantages of Surfer compared to competitor X? And it returns you a bunch of bullet points. It's better by feature 1, feature 2, feature 3. And we would write a page which would specifically address those feature 1, feature 2, feature 3 things. And that's something that anyone can do, and it would work for pretty much any industry, any company size, etc.
So a lot of SEOs would push back and say you have to have a human first content. You have to begin with authority, experience, trust, and demonstrate that and show that it's a real person, and perhaps base your article on some kind of video or podcast that the AI can understand that it's humans that has produced it first. What would you say in response to that?
I don't see how it's supposed to conflict, like including those facts and tweaking the structure of your content just a bit. So for instance, Our correlation study also shows that AI or LLM search prefers a specific or a certain structure in the content, like bullet points, tables, lists, etc. So just because LLMs, it's easier for each LLMs. By turning some of your like human first written article from the first person point of view, if you've been on a trip to something and you have the travel blog and you're describing how did you like your time spent in Rome and giving suggestions to people, if you turn a bunch of this content into a table, it wouldn't change the way it reads to people, to actual people who read it, if someone ends up reading your whole blog post, say, on your website. So it's rather additive thing. The claim I want to make is that optimizing page for LLMs doesn't conflict with optimizing for SEO as such. I mean, these are like two sides of the same thing. They're rather additive than conflicting. You just sprinkle a bunch of stuff on top of existing SEO blog posts, then and it doesn't hurt each other.
You've talked about optimizing for maybe LLMs first, or primarily LLMs. Would you advocate publishing articles that are just targeted at LLMs and publishing other articles on your website that's publishing real humans?
That's a great question. That's case by case. The example I provided that, for instance, if we in Surfer find that we do not rank for a particular prompt in a particular LLM, we might, and it will be faster to just write and publish the page, which would be particularly aimed. This page's purpose would be only to get us cited and sourced for this particular prompt in this particular LLM. So SEO is something, like a byproduct here. But if we have time and there's no urgency, that's the process we kind of incorporated within our internal SEO content writing process. So when we have a brief for a particular article to write, SEO article, we add a features of LLM optimization that this article needs to have. So like put a table here, make sure to include those facts because they can come from LLM. And we already have this process pretty much well automated inside the platform. It's already like a publicly available feature. It's available to users. We have the so-called LLM facts available in all our content editors. So that's the part we automated. As I said, AI tracker, we also have it, but there are plenty on the market. They doesn't make a cut by itself. Optimization does. In terms of tracking, pretty much anything would do. You can even do so manually.
It's interesting you mentioned a table a few times there as well in terms of important elements to include within a blog post or an article. What other elements or structural styles would you generally advocate a piece having in order to be more likely to appeal to LLMs?
The one which has the highest correlation is as simple or maybe as stupid as numbered headings. So literally in your H1, you can label it as step 1, colon, in your H1 as it used to be. And then just step 2, it would be your H2, etc., etc. The thing to mention here is, so Google has its crawl budget. The less it would spend in terms of compute time to crawl your page and to get any meaningful information from it, the better it is for your website and this particular page's performance. The amount of tokens LLM would spend to get any meaningful data that would serve a user's prompt or query is the same as crawl budget that Google has. So the less tokens it would spend to find a particular piece of information a user looks for, the better it is for you. And by having a certain structure helps it because all LLMs work pretty much the same. It's basically transformer architecture with some different flavors or tweaks, but it's basically transformers. They can keep a context of the whole page at once, but they will still start to read from top to bottom. So having the main query by default, having the structure, like number headings, tables, bullet points, you could say it reads as human would do that. It's easier to skim through a bunch of bullet points than to read a wall of text and try to distill the information from there.
And one challenge with people consuming a lot of content on LLMs is that they do it on that platform and that they're probably less likely to click through to a website. How do you measure success on LLMs?
That's debatable though, but it's not just our journal study. There's a fresh SEO ranking study that just came in, and they claim that people who came to your website from any type of LLM spend 68% more time on your website. It sounds like a common sense though, because it pre-filters your intent. If you already decided to open any website from an LLM search result output, it means that it did this pre-filtering for you. As in a classic search, when you get to the Google search and you go through a bunch of first couple of pages and then you land on the exact one you were looking for. LLM does this, eliminates this part of the process. It gets you exactly the page you was looking for because it reads all of them on your behalf, basically. So yeah, sorry. The original question, how do you measure success? And second part, what was the question?
Well, I guess it's in relation to traffic. I put to you that perhaps not as much traffic come from LLMs to websites as traffic would come from more traditional search engines to websites. And you pushed back on that a little bit, I guess, by also talking about the quality of traffic as well. But the main question really related around measuring success. What metrics you had in mind to measure whether or not the work that you were spending on trying to feature content on LLMs was worthwhile.
It ain't much different from the metrics you have and targets you have for SEO content as such. It's basically unique users, people who came to your website, and people who completed the target action, whatever it is for you. Are you selling a product, a service? Are you just informational type of website and you're getting paid for people who are seeing advertising on your page, etc. It's not any different. Luckily, LLMs like ChatGPT, for instance, they have their UTM built in. So it's easy to track as well as pretty much any other LLM. So it's not a huge issue. And as I said, yeah, in terms of quality of this traffic, so depending on your niche or category or type of business, if a user came to your website from an LLM, it is much more likely to be a more engaged user than those who came from Google, just because of this kind of intent pre-filtering has already been done for them and served to them.
Roman, what's the key takeaway from the tip you shared today?
I want to also mention, I'm not sure it would be the key takeaway though, but I also wanted to mention that mentions of your website or a particular page on other websites is basically new backlinking. To do well on GEO and to rank well on LLMs, LLM prefer in context natural mentions of your brand or product in different websites than do follow 301 backlinks as it works for classical SEO type of saying. So if you do not rank for a certain prompt in a certain LLM, but your competitor does or another website does, and you reach out to them saying, hey, can you please mention us in this way, mention this fact about us, and we will do this like on your, and we would do the same for you on our website. It would do much better, or it would do as good as classical backlinking for the original or classical SEO.
Great. Okay. And did you want to share something else in terms of a key takeaway?
It's easier than it seems. It's going to be our new standard, say, in the nearest future. And it's not going to become a separate industry or profession. I think it would just become naturally built into the existing SEO or marketing teams. So GEO is just a new reality with everyone should start embracing. The sooner the better. So start optimizing for exact prompts you would like to rank in particular LLMs. Not just keep doing what you've been doing, writing the old or optimizing existing blog post pages SEO first, and pray for better. Do deliberately optimize for GEO as well.
Roman Leliukh is AI Product Manager at Surfer. Find out more over at surferseo.com. Roman, thanks so much for being part of SEO in 2026.
Thank you.
I've been your host, David Bain. Get your copy of SEO in 2026, the book, over at SEOin2026.com.